Welcome to the Explainer. Look, today we're tackling what's honestly become the biggest headache in scaling enterprise AI. The fact that cost visibility is almost always lagging dangerously behind deployment velocity. But there is massive news. On June 18, 2026, OpenAI rolled out a major update to ChatGPT Enterprise, introducing credit usage analytics and updated spend controls. If you've been trying to scale AI deployments while wrestling with these unpredictable variable costs, well, this is the update that finally tames the AI Wild West. We're going to break down exactly what changed, how the whole thing works, and what you need to do about it right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with goodbye to fragmented billing, then look at the global admin console, touch on proactive enterprise AI governance, go over configuring your spend controls, and wrap up with next steps for admins.
Section 1. Goodbye to fragmented billing, solving the visibility gap. For a long time, engineering and FinOps teams have shared this incredibly frustrating pain point, trying to manage AI scale across a whole organization without clear, centralized cost tracking. It's basically flying blind. The old way was a literal masterclass in inefficiency. You had to cross-reference these totally separate reports and manually stitch together CSV files. Honestly, it felt like a process from 1998, not the cutting-edge AI era. You were finding out what happened way after the budget was already completely gone. But the new update? It replaces all that headache with a unified dashboard. You get instant, aggregated, UI-level visibility. No more manual export pipelines just to figure out who's spending what.
Section 2. The global admin console and hierarchical tracking.
Now, what's really interesting about this new setup is the hierarchical breakdown it exposes. You're not just getting one terrifying, massive number at the end of the month anymore. At the top level, the workspace shows your total overall consumption. But then you drill down. You can see per-user metrics and their exact burn rates. You can see product-level allocation, like splitting out ChatGPT and Codex. And crucially, you can see model-specific spend. You literally now have the granular data required to actually understand your whole ecosystem.
Let's paint a scenario of why this granularity is just a total game changer. Imagine you see a massive spike in Codex credits. Previously, that was a month-end mystery. But now, engineering and finance teams can correlate that spike directly to a specific sprint cycle. You validate the spend against actual code generation volume. On the flip side, if you spot an unexplained credit drain across non-essential models, it triggers an immediate review. No more delayed shock when the bill comes. This explicitly helps you separate the good stuff, increased usage from high-value work, from the weird anomalies. And, as a brilliant bonus, individual users can now view their own personal credit consumption right in their workspace settings. That basic transparency means way fewer support tickets landing on IT's desk.
Section 3. Proactive enterprise AI governance, mapping cost to value.
So the crucial point is perfectly captured in this quote from our sources. Enterprise AI adoption stalls when cost visibility lags behind deployment velocity. Really think about that for a second. Cross-functional teams absolutely cannot justify massive AI investments to their stakeholders if they can't map where the spend is actually coming from or how it translates to business value. If you can't see the cost in real time, you end up pulling the plug on innovation just out of pure fear.
And this brilliantly illustrates the paradigm shift to proactive operational governance. It basically means you're finally embedding financial telemetry directly into your day-to-day workflow. You can establish solid baselines for what normal credit consumption looks like and set alerts for any wild deviations. It aligns AI spending with standard IT procurement practices, where your actual usage metrics are what drive renewal negotiations and capacity planning. When you combine this kind of visibility with existing security frameworks, this analytics layer gives you a fully auditable trail. It protects the company's balance sheet from uncontrolled variable costs while still letting you scale intelligence thoughtfully.
Section 4. Configuring your spend controls through UI-driven management.
It brings up a really critical question. Where exactly can administrators go right now to configure these new usage limits and spend boundaries? If you're an admin, where do you actually start clicking?
Well, configuration happens through two primary interfaces. First, there's the global admin console itself that hosts the main analytics dashboard and your spend control settings. Second, you'll rely on the OpenAI Help Center documentation to understand how to define those thresholds, set up your notification triggers, and adjust the workspace level caps. Meanwhile, like we mentioned, individual users just manage their own visibility right through their workspace settings. But okay, there is one absolutely vital technical detail you need to note here. This update does not introduce new API endpoints for programmatic control. The focus right now is entirely on UI-level visibility and administrative configuration. So if your team relies on automated budget enforcement, you're going to need to integrate these console metrics with your existing FinOps pipelines using scheduled exports or admin notifications.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Section 5, Next Steps for Admins, giving you an actionable checklist.
Here is your immediate step-by-step action plan. Step 1. Audit. You need to verify that your existing thresholds align with this new model-level granularity. Step 2. Update those internal docs. Make sure finance and engineering teams know exactly where to query this data now. Step 3. Map the new metrics to your FinOps monitoring stack. Step 4. Run a test view with a pilot group just to confirm the user-facing numbers actually match the admin-level reports. And finally, Step 5, and honestly this is absolutely crucial, implement a recurring review cadence. Setting up a weekly or bi-weekly check is the best way to catch usage drift way before it becomes an expensive problem.
At the end of the day, this update gives teams the capabilities they need to do really high-impact work without breaking the bank. It completely removes the guesswork. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to ask within your own organization. Is your AI spend finally mapped to actual business outcomes, or are you still just guessing? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I highly recommend logging into your global admin console right now to check out the new data for yourself.